Just to be clear. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. All righty, are we ready?
But that starts too.
Start recording?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. It's June 9th, 2025, and it is 4:02 PM, and this is the Cleveland Public Arts Commission meeting. We are going to start with a call to order, which is this, and then roll call. So, Vice Chair Dean Michael Cruz,
Present.
Matt McGrath,
Yeah, excused.
Commissioner Trevely,
Present.
Commissioner Edelman Heath,
We've heard that there's technical difficulties. She may be joining us, but we're not sure.
okay, Commissioner Rulon,
Here.
Commissioner McCoy,
She's not present.
okay, and then Chair McCoy and myself, I am present. So we have a forum. Item C, upcoming events. Reminders, please look at Flagstaff 365 for upcoming events in music, culture, art, and sciences. It's a pretty active thing right now because it's summer, so definitely take a look. And then do you have any public participation today?
No, we got no notice of anybody requesting it.
Okay, thank you. And then item E, approval of minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? Great. Ma'am, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Great. And is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. But abstain. Okay. Is that enough?
No, it's not. We will have to defer till, we have to have four.
To approve the minutes. I didn't stay for the whole meeting as you said. I feel comfortable.
We maybe just approve them next month.
Thank you.
Let's continue.
Okay. Item F, announcements.
Okay, so.
No.
It's misspelled.
Oh. It's been that way for a couple months, so. Use it again.
All right, and none of the staff catches it, great. Anyway, I was hoping to introduce our new commissioner, Tracy McCoy, but Tracy got a new job. And her job is in Flagstaff, in Scottsdale, and therefore she is relocating and therefore is not eligible to be a commissioner. So obviously between the time she put in the application and getting the job, it was a short turnaround. So she's very honored. I have, obviously offered to take her on a tour of Scottsdale Public Art, wished her well, thanked her very much for her input into the Cleo Modoc Park sculpture. And is also invited her before she leaves to take a look at the timetable at the DCC to show all the South Side history that was included there. But so we just only wish her the best. Right now, because most of the others have expired, there is only one eligible person left. And so the council won't appoint until there's at least two. So if you have ideas to have people apply, it will most likely be if we can get some new applications. The city clerk is reaching out to those who, who's expired and ask them if they want to reapply. We'll try to get an appointment at the July 1 city council meeting, but it's possible that we may slip until August. So quorum will continue to be an issue with only 6 people and one of our members being a firefighter. So we'll try to keep an account on quorum for the summer. But in lieu of that announcement, I'd like to make another one. I'm just going to go ahead and ad hoc here. And I would like everyone to congratulate Corey Woodall on her 1-year work anniversary tomorrow. And sending her off to the American for the Arts Conference along with Kristen Cargito, and they're leaving tomorrow night for Cincinnati. So, yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Corey.
Yes.
It's been really nice to have you.
Yeah, really great addition. I mean, our art is being maintained, our collections and really great leadership also just in her first public art project. So really happy.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. And then, Vice Chair, did you have any announcements?
Did not know.
And I do not. And then, anybody else, any other commissioners have any announcements?
I just wanted to make one announcement that there is an additional BIA grant presenter that
Okay.
didn't make it into the original agenda. It's
Yes.
Christy Rockus.
Okay,
And so that's between Claire Magnuson and Joe Rocker.
okay, thank you. And then, no council liaison today, so,
She will be here, but she will be at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So we
We
can
can
ask
pick
her
a
at the
moment.
end.
okay, thank you. And then we have action items. So the first one is BIA grant applicant presentations. Corey?
Yeah,
Great.
so our first scheduled applicant is not in the room with us right now. They're scheduled beginning at 4:15. So we
We're moving
made
fast.
really good time, yeah. So we can proceed with an applicant who is here or?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
do we have Danielle? Danielle, why don't you please come up here to the presenters table?
You have the slides.
Say what?
You have the slides.
Yeah, it's right up there.
Oh, okay.
And then Annalise's got your clicker. This is
Awesome. Yep. You don't mind if I stand up?
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and you know when the time's up.
Awesome.
So, thank you guys for, taking the time to listen to my proposal and, hope you like it. I live in Smoke Rise, which is extreme east end of Flagstaff, and, something that you guys are probably painfully aware of is that the east side often, is forgotten when it comes to public art, other kinds of, resources from the city. And so I thought it would be a really great opportunity to put in a request for a project in Smoke Rise Park. This is an image of the basketball court in Smoke Rise Park. It's a 1,600 square foot concrete pad that is kind of dull and uninviting. And my idea is to repair and revitalize this basketball court as a way to invigorate the community, get neighbors out into the park and get to know each other. And then perhaps use the park even more. Project feasibility, you guys are really aware of these because I'm sure you have had involvement in these projects in Cheshire neighborhood and the Flagstaff Visitor Center. Just to show examples of painting on horizontal surfaces and their viability. And then just example basketball court murals around the country and in Paris. There's one in Paris that is like world renowned and professional ball players come from all over the world to play there. Because it's such an amazing space with the design that changes every 6 months or 2 years, or I don't remember. But you can see in the top left the community helping to paint. And you can see how the color and liveliness compared to, what's at Smoke Rise right now. And then just to show you my research into materials is talking to Sherwin-Williams, the Pro Traffic marking paint lifespan is more than 7 years. It's the same stuff that they use to paint the no parking on the curbs and whatnot. And it can be mixed into all different kinds of colors. It's UV resistant. It's designed for high traffic areas, cars. And so, obviously on a basketball court, there won't be people driving. And there's an option to do an anti-graffiti top coat if you guys feel it's necessary. However, I would say research shows that, murals and art in public places are less likely to be vandalized than what you saw currently at the park. These are some examples of things that I've worked on in the past. I'm the organizer and planner of Phoenix mural festivals that have occurred in Phoenix over the last 6 years. This one was during the middle of COVID, and you can see me and Kate Gallego and my volunteer sidekick. We put up more than 110 murals in Phoenix, 80 local artists, and we won the Mayor's Art Award for Community Innovation for that. These are some projects that I've made personally. The one on the left is a sculpture that's in Bellevue, Washington. It's actually part of the Pokemon Go game. And the one in the middle is the Tempe Town Lake sculpture. And then Tempe hires me on a regular basis to beautify chain link fences that are around various construction sites. So you can see that I work in a lot of different mediums, and that I work. We had in the What Inspires You one, we had maybe 40 or 50 volunteers come out and help with that. So just to give you an idea of like what my qualifications are, I'm a faculty at ASU in the design school, and I've been working in public art for a long time. And so I think you can see that I have the knowledge and ability to get this project completed. My goal would be to invite neighbors from Christmas Tree, neighbors from Smoke Rise, and neighbors from the adjoining trailer parks to come and bring their kids and have a big like chalk day on the actual on the basketball court to get ideas, and then to come back and invite them to help actually paint it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. You said that one of your motivations is basketball court is underutilized. Are there other factors besides the appearance that might be leading to that underutilization?
I see people using the playgrounds, and I think kids would use the ball court if it was more appealing.
Okay.
I see some kids walking around with a basketball sometimes, but you know, when I go to the park, more often I see people on the play equipment rather than. But one idea that someone mentioned at the parks meeting that I went to, that perhaps there could be other games like incorporated into the design, so that like maybe there's a hopscotch or some other kinds of things that like in addition to basketball, the court painting itself could encourage other kinds of activities as well.
Oh, I like that, like a four square.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's a nice.
I wonder about, has anyone chatted with the community about what they want? I think it's lovely, and I think it's a great idea, but I don't play basketball, and I don't know if as a basketball player, if having a painted ball court would, I don't know, make me not want to play because it's not a basketball court, it's, you know, something else.
I mean, it would definitely have the key and everything painted on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I'm a super NBA fan, so I watch NBA all the time, and their courts are like painted with all kinds of cool designs, and even the what's it called when the best players in the league come out for the week.
Like the All-Stars.
Yeah, thank you. One year they had an actual like digital court that was like moving while they were playing basketball on it, which was really crazy. But I think that I think kids would love it. And part of my plan with the money is to host like a big event to have kids come out and talk to me about what they envision and what, you know, what they hope it would be. Like, I don't want to come in there and tell the community what they need. I mean, I live in that neighborhood, but I don't know. I mean, I only speak for myself.
3 minutes.
Still discuss a little further, I can't remember. Make a motion. Oh, yeah.
We need another
The
minute.
discussion, okay. Do we want to are we just approving or are we waiting until the end?
We wait till the end.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can't remember my procedure on that one. We've changed it a couple times.
Okay, so next up is Kathy. Hi.
I have to stand here for the cameras or could I stand up there?
We have a presenter stand here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is awkward because they're looking at that way and
But we're gonna look at the presentation.
yeah, I know, but I want you to look at me too.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna have whiplash. All right, great. Well, thank you for this opportunity to speak to you all. My name is Kathy Ferretta. I live here in Flagstaff and my friend David Benjamin, who's over here with me today, owns Anderson General Tire. And for some reason I have a typo in everything that says the east facing wall of Anderson Tire, but it's really the west facing wall. It's the wall that faces La Fonda. So it's a big, huge wall right there in Sunnyside, and he's been interested in having a mural there. And I've been talking to him about it for a long time, so I told him I'd help him get this grant written and hopefully maybe get awarded so that we can beautify the area. If you go ahead and advance the slide, please.
And Lisa, can you be your advancement person?
Let's try and reload this.
So basically, my next slide is just the team. So I'm just kind of the organizer. Dwayne Coyawina, the artist, lives in Sunnyside. He'll be the artist for the project. And then Morgan Boatman lives here in Flagstaff. He's an amazing videographer, and he's going to do a video component of the project that'll be related to the community community engagement. So your goals for this fund are about collaboration and community and engagement, and that's what we want to do with this project. We want to bring the community together. We also think that having the community involved in the mural will also cut down on people feeling the need to add to it once it's done. So we're going to have a component where Dwayne will manage volunteers who will come. We're really hoping we get like a group of kids over from Killip to come and paint on the mural while he's working on it. So my next slide's just hey, Morgan. So here's Morgan. He's the other person. I guess I covered that, so go ahead and go to the next one. You probably are familiar with Dwayne's work. He got a lot of coverage for the R2D2. That exhibit is currently down in Tempe right now if you want to go see it again. And he curated, it's always a little change when you move an exhibit, and he curated it down there too. So really neat guy, lives in Sunnyside, been here in Flagstaff a long time, has a really powerful story of healing and recovery, and that's reflected in his art as well as his Hopi Tewa culture. Go ahead and go on to the next one. Just a couple of examples of his work. The big one in the middle there, you probably recognize over next to Chocolita. I believe you guys funded that grant. And then go ahead and go to the next one. This one is just finished over in Williams, I think a few months ago as well, the one on the left there. So he does indoor stuff, he does outdoor stuff. He's got a beautiful mural in adult probation, which I didn't get a chance to run over and get a picture of. So he's done these public murals quite a lot. Go ahead to the next one. So our goals are to do these partnerships by bringing people in, using Morgan's skills. He's really good at bringing stories together and doing little interviews, and then he'll package some of those things for us to use on social media. So we can talk about your goals through social media, how you're supporting the community and beautifying the community and collaborating. We're also going to be celebrating an artist who literally lives in that neighborhood and has been very successful, and his art is so beautiful. And so it'll give people who live in that neighborhood like pride because it represents their neighborhood. Also been working with the Sunnyside Association. Coral is here, and she wrote a letter of support for us. She has another grant that I think came from you guys with the sunflower.
Yep.
Yeah, she's gonna have a sunflower with a little QR code in it. They're hoping to do something with like an events kind of a website that would be more dynamic, because you stick up posters and they're out of date, all that stuff. So she's hoping to create something like that. So we'll work that sunflower with the QR code into Dwayne's mural, and he's okay with that, so that we can tie into that other project as well. Of course, it's a long-term impact. It's a big wall and it will have such a powerful impact there. Also, David has decided he wants to landscape the strip of dirt that exists between that wall and the street at his own expense because we're gonna have this beautiful mural and he wants it to look beautiful once people see it. Go ahead and go to the next one. Just like the budget, it's in the narrative, you can look at it closer whenever you want. But basically, we built into it the equipment cost so that Dwayne can get one of those scissor lifts and it's more safe to get the painting done. And then he'll be working with the public. So we've got some money in there for refreshments for the public and also for the social media. And of course, the contract with Morgan to make all the great videos. Go ahead on to the next. Dwayne's concept for the piece, you can see a sketch of it in the lower right there. It's dominated by the peaks, and Tewa, the sun, which is a symbol of strength, and of course clouds for moisture, that's so important here, and some animals. So it's just a very Flagstaff centric kind of mural that I think is just going to be incredible. And that's the wall you see there that we're talking about. A lot of snow, so look a lot prettier once it's landscape too. Go ahead to the next one.
That's time.
All right. I already told you about all this, so we're good. Thank you so much for everything.
If we have questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
Please ask questions.
I really appreciate the collaboration between the neighborhood and the business owner. You know, one of the things that I really love is when the BIA grants spur additional beautification efforts. So that's a really nice thing to hear. Thank you. It's, you know, there's a lot of really positive things happening in that community. You're aware of the new Montalvo Center going in?
Very weird, very
Yeah.
excited.
So it seems like if you're thinking about that too, there's maybe some opportunity artistically to think about some of that change that's happening in the community as well.
Definitely. I'm on the board of the Flagstaff Festival of Science, so it's gonna be a STEM center. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll be happy to collaborate anywhere I can there.
Great, that's awesome. Anybody else? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Nicely presented. We have Jason. Jason with us? Claire? Christy here yet?
And Joe's not here. So I think we're running a little bit ahead of schedule and not all of our applicants have arrived yet.
Okay. We can move on.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and do the APS utility cap?
Do that, and then we'll revisit what's here left. So item 2 is the 4 APS utility cabinets, and Kristen, thank you.
Hello. I'm here to present today the recommended proposals and the recommended alternate artworks for 4 APS utility cabinets. The shrub dance. Down. Okay, so these are the 4 locations we are looking at this afternoon: J.W. Powell and Lone Tree, Aspen Avenue and Humphreys, Butler Avenue near 1 AZ Credit Union, and Butler Avenue near Whole Foods. So I'm going to share a little bit about the process for this project, including outreach, selection panel members, scoring, the estimated schedule, and then of course viewing the highest scoring artworks. And then we will conclude with the option of making a motion at the end of this presentation for recommended designs at each location. So this project is part of a partnership that Beautification Arts and Sciences has with Arizona Public Service, or APS. And this is specifically a pilot program to wrap 10 APS utility cabinets with colorful artist design vinyl wraps that evoke joy, curiosity, and conversation. The call to artists was a request for informal proposals. This was disseminated earlier this spring in March. And artists were allowed to submit up to 2 proposals or 2 designs, excuse me, each design being for a different location. Winning designs will receive a $2,000 award so long as the artwork can be translated into a high resolution digital format that is necessary to produce a high resolution vinyl graphic. A pre-application meeting was held in April, and that was a time where interested applicants could attend. They could ask questions. We discussed policies and procedures, and we had approximately 18 applicants who attended. And this information, or this meeting, excuse me, was very informational. Like all of our calls, we do substantial outreach. We sent multiple e-blasts to our subscribers. We did social media postings and of course flyer distribution. And this translated into 53 submissions for these 4 different locations. Sit down, right? Okay, all right. So the top scores at each location are being recommended to the Beautification and Public Art Commission this afternoon. Upon BPAC's approval, then the designs will be sent to APS for further review and approval. And then vinyl wraps will be installed later this summer and early fall. So here is the criteria that the panelists utilized to review and score each submission. 100 points was possible. The first is up to 50 points, which was for originality, visual quality, and overall the artistic merit of the proposal. And again, of course, its ability to be translated into that high resolution file. And then up to 50 points for how well the proposal complemented the site, if it can be enjoyed by both vehicular and pedestrian traffic, and if it contributes to the cultural atmosphere as well. So I do want to just note that at locations where scoring was very close, we offered the panelists the opportunity to reconvene and to discuss the top scores. Panelists declined this invitation and all communicated that they felt comfortable proceeding with the top scores with the recommended proposals based on their scoring. This is the estimated schedule. As you can see, June 9th today, everything is being put forth to the Beautification and Public Art Commission. The project will commence, I have here August 1st, but it will probably be much earlier in July. And then we have a project completion date of October 1st. So the first location is East J.W. Powell Road and South Lone Tree Road. And so this is a very popular area, especially for families, residents and visitors who utilize the adjacent parking lot. They park here for snow playing, they park to hike, and they park to utilize the trails to mountain bike. And there were 13 proposals received for this location. Our selection panelists included Chair McCord, thank you, Chair McCord. From the city of Flagstaff, Grace Benally, who is the community engagement specialist. And then we had 2 representatives from Coconino Community College, Samantha Hippolito and Lena Wallen, and then community member Amanda Lanigan. So this is the recommended proposal for this location. It is by Kelsey Phillips, and Kelsey received 437 points. Kelsey is a 5th generation artist here in Arizona, and she is very interested in exploring the relationship between humans and animals. So she's inspired by Arizona's landscapes. And you'll see that as you look through her artwork, and this is no exception. So here you see coyotes at various times of the day. They are playing together, they are singing, and they are jumping. And coyotes are near and dear to the artist's heart. You'll also see a very vibrant but complementary color palette to make sure that this cabinet stands out from its surroundings. And this is the top panel of the box. And so this represents the canopy of the forest, as though you were looking up through this canopy from the ground. This is the recommended alternate for this location. This artwork is entitled Wild at Heart, and it is by Jennifer Phillips. And this celebrates local plants, wildlife, and the spirit within us that is constantly changing as the seasons evolve. The top panel connects all 4 directions and seasons and meets in the middle with a gold circle. This reflects Flagstaff's cycle of discovery at heart. And of course, with the changing seasons, everything is new and different each and every time. So first we have this southern view, which features a playful coyote with bold cone flowers capturing the spirit of summer. The east panel, which is the image on the right, features an osprey in a ponderosa pine. And this is a nod to the nesting pair that resides at Pine Canyon Golf Course right across the way. The north-facing panel, which you see here, features a mule deer with bright blanket flowers and marks the arrival of spring. And then the west-facing panel shows an elk framed by golden aspen leaves, which evokes autumn's glow.
Why don't we go ahead and take a vote after each one?
Okay,
Jen, so that it's fresh.
sure. Okay.
Okay, maybe.
So do we want to have any questions or anything about this before we take a vote or any conversation? I did sit on that committee, and one of the things, we received a lot of really excellent applications. Both of the selection, the selection and the alternate are lovely. What we really liked about this one is that because it is an area with a lot of snow play and the coyotes are playful, it felt like it related a little bit more to the number of kids that are there in the winter. Also, the top 2 selections, one of the things that we did discuss was really trying to go, find some layers in that relationship to the forest and the mountains rather than just, that first conversation, which is forest and mountains. Saying, what is it? What are the details? What are the things that we really love about the forest and the mountains? And what can we bring out for people to maybe notice a little bit more? So that was really where that conversation went. And I was really happy to see what rose to the top. So, and with that, we want to make a motion to approve this cabinet.
So moved.
Is there? I'll second. I love it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay.
We have to do a motion for the alternate as well, Jana?
Yes.
What motion? do we- Yes, if it doesn't work.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to make a motion to approve the alternate if the original selection is not approved? Or is,
Or if something happens.
if something happens in the process?
So moved.
Great, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So this is the next site. It is a cabinet located at West Aspen Avenue and North Humphrey Street. So we all know this location. This is a major thoroughfare where residents, thousands of residents and visitors pass by this location each and every day. It also sits near Wheeler Park, which is home to arts and cultural festivals. And again, that is frequented by visitors and residents. And 22 proposals were received for this location. Selection panelists included Vice Chair Cruz, thank you. From the City of Flagstaff, Linda Tilson, the Library Director. And then we had 3 community members who also happened to be downtown residents, Sarah Downing, Rose Hauk, and David Cross. So this is the recommended artwork for this location, and this was by local artist Kiara Schrift. This proposal reflects the spirit of Flagstaff and features iconic landmarks such as the San Francisco Peaks, Mount Eldon, the Sky Dome, Weatherford Hotel, and I know I'm missing one, and Lowell Observatory. The artist designed this artwork specifically with the downtown location in mind. And the artist states that they create a visual experience that allows both locals and visitors to appreciate the unique character and natural wonder of the dark sky city. The recommended alternate artwork for this location is by artist Skylar Blackbull. Skylar is inspired by the Navajo prayer Walk in Beauty. And so for this proposal, the artist depicts a series of individuals shown from either the waist down or the chest down, wearing traditional clothing or everyday clothing. The artist writes that this approach highlights the diversity of our community while honoring resilience, tradition, and the ongoing journey of Indigenous peoples. She invites viewers to reflect on their own path and to find that beauty in all of our differences. She states we each have our own walk in life, our own personal way of walking in beauty. These images, celebrate Navajo heritage and contribute to Flagstaff's reputation as a hub for diverse and meaningful. And this is the top of that cabinet. Wow. Questions?
Discussion. We have to find a place for that alternate selection.
It's fantastic.
That's a really incredible piece.
Yeah,
I don't know if we've received anything that is so specific. You know,
There's any sponsored by the new Indigenous Cultural Center.
yeah, I know there's a big APS cabinet by the DCC. That would be an opportunity, perhaps. That's just gorgeous.
yeah.
It's really cool.
Does anybody have any questions?
Hopefully our reps, our pilot goes really well with APS, and after this summer, if they get wrapped and all of these ones get wrapped and they survive the heat, APS will approve us for more cabinets. And we already have ones targeted by the library that we'd like to use. We've already been in discussions, not mine, about not only that cabinet, but the future cabinets they're going to be putting in electrified buses. And so, very much, this is not the only alternate that has stood up to staff. To apply possibly for BIA grants in the future, or,
Thank you, Jen.
yeah, or, and they could also apply for BIA grants, not for APS cabinets, for traffic signal cabinets. So, we will make these alternates aware of that, that possibility.
Okay, good, thank you. I do have some concerns about how dark this one is. I think it's a really high visibility corner and it's definitely a little hard to see. So definitely want to be careful, I guess, in output, making sure it doesn't trend dark. So, does anybody else have any comments or questions? Does anyone want to make a motion? Or you were on that one, right? You were leading that one? Did you have any thoughts?
I wasn't leading it. Kristen led it. I was just on it. This was not my top choice. I like it. I think it's great. My top choice was the alternate, just because it was so amazingly unique. I feel like landscapes and scenery is like the topic of probably 90% of our cabinets. And so I did not support this one as the first, but I do like it very much. I appreciate your concerns about the colors, but I think that at least makes it more unique, is that it's not a daytime landscape. It's rather night. And so I think in that way, it'll look lovely in the spot where it is.
Okay, cool.
And I will move to accept this one as the committee's as the panel's selection.
Great, and I will second. All in favor? Aye. Great. And then I'll make a motion to approve the alternate selection should the primary selection not be selected, able to be.
Second.
Great, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Two more. This next location is a cabinet which resides on Butler Avenue near One AZ Credit Union. So again, we have a major thoroughfare which is traversed, daily by visitors and residents to and from Flagstaff. This sits adjacent to One AZ Credit Union. It's across the street from the Greyhound bus station and just down the way from a few local businesses as well. And 7 proposals were received, for this location. The selection panel included Claire Edelman Heath, who represented the Beautification and Public Art Commission, Jennifer Schauber from the City of Flagstaff, and then community members. We had a representative from One AZ Credit Union, Jennifer Rackle, Deanne Tracy of Peak Sense, which is a business just down the way, and Benjamin Robinson from Whole Foods, again, just down the way. So this is the selection panel's recommended proposal. It is by Kelsey Phillips. We just saw Kelsey's Coyotes and the inspiration behind her work just a bit ago. She received a cumulative score of 472 points. And this artwork here features native birds flying in and out of the Flagstaff forest. So they include the western tanager, acorn woodpecker, northern flicker, and Steller's jay. So these birds were chosen for their bright colors to stand apart from the background. And again, just emphasize Flagstaff's connection to the great outdoors. And as you will see, the top of the box here includes a cluster of plants. This is the alternate selection for this location. It is by Alex Luna, who received a score of 420 points. So Alex's proposal captures the beauty of course, aspen trees. Here in particular, the tree bark against their golden autumn leaves. The artist's family visits Flagstaff every fall and makes it a point to go up to the San Francisco peaks and experience this wonderful change of color that occurs each and every fall here in Flagstaff. And the artist writes that they're inspired to capture the gorgeous autumn colors that can be appreciated throughout the year, long after the aspen leaves have fallen. So here is a detail of that. Gorgeous guy.
I love this selection. I think it's lovely. It's really nice.
So we'll go back to the recommended.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'll move to approve the alternate.
Great, now I second. All in favor? Aye. You're ahead of me, sir.
Final location is an APS utility cabinet located on Butler Avenue, near Whole Foods. And again, well-traversed area. 11 proposals were received for this location. Selection panelists, again, the same as we had on the previous, at the previous site.
They're very close together.
Yes, they are. And this is the proposed selection by Liz Taylor, who received a cumulative score of 390 points. It is called Fragments of Flagstaff. So this represents each of the 4 seasons paired with an element of what the city has to offer in terms of wellness, engagement, or activity. The artist writes that one of the unique features of Flagstaff is the variety of experiences one might have during the changing seasons, from hiking in mild weather to skiing in the winter. No two visits are the same. As the panels shift through the seasons, the color palettes also shift to represent each time of year. The natural beauty of the city is represented, but left open to how one might explore the city rather than focusing on a specific activity.
Love it.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. This person is clearly a professional designer. My first thought when I saw it was that the city of Flagstaff should use these things for seasonal promotion, like just within the, you know, sort of thematic. It's also, it feels like food packaging to me, which is so nice for being next to Whole Foods. It feels like they could use that for their holiday packaging. It's like there's a present in there. I will make, is there any other?
Yes, there's an alternate.
Oh, yeah.
Let me
I
get
was
the
just gonna say, I
alternate.
really like how it straddles the line between abstract and representation.
Mhm. I do
It's,
too.
it's gonna make people think
Yeah,
from looking at it.
yeah.
Okay, here's the recommended alternate for this location. It's by local artist Aaron O'Laughlin. And so this features an intertwining geometric design that really covers all four sides as well as the top. The design is inspired by Flagstaff's connection with outer space for the discovery of Pluto at Lowell Observatory. The circular nodes and connections have a celestial aesthetic, giving a nod to Flagstaff being the first international dark sky city. The offset circular patterns, writes the artist, mimic planetary orbit paths, and the radial arrays emit sunlight. It is the artist's intent to develop an abstract design using basic shapes and a complementary, color palette that is pleasing to all. Thank you. I will go back to the proposed selection.
I'll make a motion to approve this and the alternate.
I think we said one at a time.
We have to do one at a time, or can we do it together? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I'll make a motion to approve this as the selected design.
Second,
All in favor? Aye. And then I'll make a motion to approve the alternates as the case happens. All in favor? Aye. There we go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
There were a lot of really.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, the selection panelists had a very difficult job.
Sometimes, you know, you look at it, you're like, there's an obvious choice, but you can tell that some of those were hard.
well, 3 of the 4 of the vote was really close.
Yes, they were very close. That's why we did ask all the selection panels if they wanted to come back, discuss, and maybe recast our list of top. But they all said, no, they were happy with the outcome. So,
And should we return now to Corey's agenda item?
Yes, okay, so we'll resume the EIA grant applications. Is Jason here with us? Okay, so you're our next presenter. If you want to head over here, we'll load up your PowerPoint for you. Hit the down button to advance your slide. I'm gonna time you for 5 minutes to get started.
I just want to preface this by apologizing because I just came back from my birthday vacation, so still trying to get back into normalcy. So there's some energy that's where it's from. Thank you. Hello, my name is Jay Jones, and I'm here to present on Freedom Garden for the Liberation of the local Flagstaff nonprofit. So 501c3 nonprofit based in Flagstaff, dedicated to building self-sufficient communities with 50% women and minority led. The mission is to empower marginalized and underserved communities utilizing sustainable tech and equitable education to promote self-sustaining community. Some projects that we're kind of working on right now, the Southside Community Partnerships, this project, the Urban Greenhouse Pilot Project, tech-based food and housing initiatives as well. I'm working on some of those. So the location is Southside neighborhood near NAU campus. It's publicly visible. It's like right by the campus, so people walk by all the time, ride by all the time. It's very It's pretty much like 3 houses down from the corner of where the campus starts. And so design is an 8 by 12 foot automated greenhouse, ton of sustainability features, including 13 vertical growing towers, which will allow us to provide at least, say 500 plants at once year round, cultivation purposes to beautify the space, build for equity, and serve as a learning and wellness space. It's public accessibility, so it's publicly visible from the sidewalks and neighboring streets. Signage is created by a local Dene artist. That's the concept that she came up with. It's an inclusive mural that has the garden's name and represents Flagstaff Peaks. The events posted on site will be open garden tours, community storytelling events, garden yoga, painting, and education days, as well as information about community access will be clearly posted on site and online. So ideally, like a QR code that you can kind of scan and learn more. For community engagement volunteers, so it will be organized by Liberation with the help of local volunteerism groups. The produce that we'll use is 50% distributed to local food access networks and 50% used for nonprofit mission sustainability, including food donations to Flagstaff nonprofits working to fight hunger, workshops and events, cooking demos using greenhouse produce, food preservation classes, canning, pickling, and dehydrating, sustainability book exchange. So this kind of like legal take a book boxes. So why this matters, it aligns with the BIA goals, which is beautification, educational vision, community involvement. It adds a vibrant community space and equity to a historically underserved neighborhood. That snippet above shows that as of 2022, Flagstaff, 20.5% of children are defined as insecure, so about 50 youth and it helps with that. It's designed to inspire and invite public curiosity and pride in local resilience. So gratitude for your attention today, and I appreciate your consideration. Let's bring beauty, peace, and food together in Flagstaff. I'll take any questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
Where's the location of the private property?
It is on the land of a residence that is it's 3 houses down from that corner where the campus starts. It's really just a large land plot that's beside of the residence. So realistically, it's a land plot, but it's defined as that as
But it's being donated by the owner.
correct. That space is being donated for service.
And it's accessible all the time.
Accessible to the public, that part is going to be clearly defined on the website. So there will be events that can be had to that will outline the different things that we talked about there. So like those cooking events, stuff like that, it'll be clearly outlined on the website, so you can attend at those points. But the accessibility portion also comes from the signage that we're using from that local Dene artist.
And the plants are gonna be food producing plants or?
Correct, yeah. All food producing.
And are people allowed to visit the greenhouse, things like that?
So they'll have different options to be able to do that. It's all facilitated through the nonprofit. But we kind of talked about the volunteerism aspect of it. So they can sign up to become volunteers to work within that aspect. And then they can also sign up for events that we'll be having around the garden. So that's what we use.
And then I actually, you'll have to forgive me, I don't know anything about your organization. Who is it?
It's currently just a board of 4 members. It's still really in the beginning stages. It's technically been established for about 3 years. But yeah, our ultimate goal is self-sustaining communities. In those communities, we have gardens like this, you know, a self-sufficient garden that can help with residents. So it's different ways that we can impact the community sooner than having to get this massive amount of funding to be able to have an effect.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Have you guys talked to any of you at all about collaborating since you're so close to campus?
We have considered it. I'm meeting with them soon to kind of just see what their capacity for that kind of thing is. Not, from what I've talked with people about there, I don't see the capacity. I don't think they're really interested in working together in that aspect, but I'm still gonna talk to them about it. But it seems like they already have their own thing going on.
There is a master's in sustainable community program. Might be interesting.
Yeah, I know they have a garden on site already
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've tried to kind of talk to people and that interest hasn't been entertained yet, so, but, you know, ideally.
3 minutes. Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so is Claire here?
Yeah.
Come on down.
But you want to be able to slide.
I'm gonna time you for 5 minutes.
Hi, so I am Claire from Grand Canyon Youth. I'm Grand Canyon Youth's Development Director. And we were super excited to get a grant from Beautification in Action like before COVID. And then COVID shut down the project. And then I started after COVID and I inherited the project and like was able to accomplish our project. And so then I'm back here applying for funding again. So it was sort of part of my, thank you, part of my start at GCY as well. So Grand Canyon Youth, we've been in town since 1998, and we offer educational outdoor expeditions that connect young people to the transformative powers of rivers and canyons of the Southwest. We envision a diverse and equitable world where all youth are empowered to live with purpose while discovering and caring for self, community, and the natural world. And we bought our building in 2020, right before COVID. We had a big capital campaign, and obviously they're still a loan and all that, but we own our building. And so we've really wanted to make that space ours. And that building has a ton of traffic because it's not only our office space, but it's also the space where we have all of these youth show up for their expeditions. And the majority of those youth are Flagstaff youth, but maybe around like 60%. But we are open, our summer programs are open nationally. So we do get kids in from Phoenix, from all over the Four Corners region, and then even some from around the country. We are about a block away from Killip, and that's one of the 5th grade schools that we serve on the Verde. The population of youth that we serve are about 40%, but often more than that, non-white identifying. And we offer financial aid to any applicant. So that kind of gives you an idea of who's coming. Like we want to have our audience be everyone. So we want our space to be super welcoming. So here you can kind of see what some of the stuff we did with our last grant. We were able to put in that flagstone on the ground, some of that shade structure on the left. There's some landscaping in there. But we have youth showing up with their families, all their gear all the time. So we're hoping to kind of take this space to the next level. We'd love to add a gear return box. We'd love to add a bike rack. We'd love to extend some of that shading. And then we also, in the first project, we were able to get a lot of donated water containers, but we weren't able to connect them to our downspouts. So they're located in places where they get a lot of water coming off the roof, but we could connect them and then actually create an irrigation system. And then we'd love to expand around the north side of our building. So this is what right around the corner, what the north side looks like. We're like the end cap property on the block. So yeah, we'd love to landscape this space. We have tons of neighborhood folks walking in the area, and people sometimes are like, the cinders, and we do our best, but it'd be really nice to make that space feel like really welcoming and not kind of like a little bit scary. Or a little bit, there's this beautiful mural, but I think it gets lost. So yeah, thank you so much. And we in our first project, we had tons of volunteers come out and help us. So we're really, really looking forward to engaging the community in this next step.
Slide that lists what we're gonna do again.
Yeah, absolutely. So the grant has it's
lays it all out, but it has two goals. One is to add functional art to this entry space. So this is one side of our building that we did that first sort of project. It just was like a gravelly weed lot. So we were able to really make it pretty lovely, but it could use some extra stuff sort of that we could make it more functional.
Could you tell me a little bit about how the gear return box and the bike rack and the rainwater harvesting system are considered beautification elements?
Totally. So we have this landscaping we put in, but it like depends on us having to go out and water. We're taking, watering cans to water, but we have the capacity of the containers. So it's like we could make all of those plants have irrigation with just like a little bit more funding, put that irrigation system in for passive rainwater harvesting collection. And so then those
containers are part of the first project.
They actually got donated when we were working on that first project. So yeah, they have no cost.
So
But
it's the
then
connections.
it's the connections, exactly. And then the gearbox, so we have like a room of free gear youth can borrow. It's all been donated. So tons of youth come in and borrow stuff, but oftentimes, we're open during business hours. So oftentimes families have a hard time returning stuff. So we were just like, what if we just had a little, almost like a package return box in the front, and then it would be like this, but it could be part like a piece of art. So we talked to Artisan Metalworks. Tim Quigley's a friend of GCY's, and he said he'd love to create like a funky art box, return box for us, or redesign a box that is already in existence.
Okay, and the bike rack, are you thinking of a colorful bike rack?
Well, and same thing. So I talked to Tim about the gearbox and the bike rack and was like, could you, if we had like, GCY, if we had like some funding to create these pieces or adjust some pieces that we could buy, could you make them like funky, fun pieces that would fit in and like add to our aesthetic and kind of add to that sort of the welcomingness of our space.
Have you confirmed that the allocated funding that you're asking for is enough to accomplish the gearbox and the bike rack with them?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So he was like I split them up between two, and he was like, I probably would put more for the other one and less, he was like, switch the two, but that's the right of the
conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he's been sending me different gearboxes that he's found. He's like, that's not the metal amount you need more metal. Like whatever, you need steel, a thicker steel. People can just break into that. I was like, they'll just get sandy, wet gear, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have any questions?
On the second slide,
Yeah.
I might have missed it, but could you be a little bit more specific about how you're gonna beautify that area, what you guys have planned?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're hoping, so there you can see there's a little garden wall that's low underneath the sandbags right there. We're hoping to extend that. And we did quite a bit of stonework in like those little bricks like from Blocklight. We were able to kind of like create sort of a garden space, and so that's what we're hoping to do. And then Gail over at Let It Grow Native Plant Nursery, she was involved with getting us all these native plants for the other side. And so she said, I reached out to her, she said she'd love to help us find stuff that would work. This side has, more extreme kind of like cold and sun, but she said there's totally plants that can thrive in that space. And then we're hoping to put some weed cloth down and reuse these cinders over that. To kind of make it a little bit more landscape.
No, the cinders actually, that's exactly what I did with my sandbags.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because you can't really move them very easily, so it's like just move them over.
So the sandbags are still there?
The sandbags are still there. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Christine.
But we'll advance your slides. Ready, 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Christy. I'm here to talk to you about my Sacred Waters mural. And this mural is going to be located in a very high traffic area. It's just south of Heritage Square near the Plaza at Sosoba, and on the alleyway side of the Hawaiian barbecue restaurant. This mural includes many of Flagstaff's significant wildlife and land features. It's got, everything that we feel encompasses what Flagstaff has to offer in the surrounding areas and how it's all connected. I love showing, at least in my artwork, how different land features, different land elements come together between like Flagstaff with the watersheds and the snow melt and the monsoons and how it connects with everything around it. This would be an opportunity to brighten the alley space where a lot of people walk. It's a very high traffic area. And the wall is deteriorating, so we'd like to be able to fix that up. Over the years, I have lived in Flagstaff and Sedona, and it has been brought to my attention how important our water is here in Flagstaff and in the surrounding areas, and the water quality and how it brings in so much wildlife and feeds so many areas around us. My mission for this mural is to be a reminder of the foundation of this town. This town is such an outdoorsy, beautiful community that is so connected with nature and our land. And I would love to be able to motivate the community to just remember what our foundation is. The woman in this mural, I wanted and envisioned a very powerful and graceful figure. And then I met Trina. Trina is a Navajo Indigenous woman who is a strong presence, an advocate for her community and the land. And she actually, as I was finishing up the features in this mural, she helped me with some of the cultural significances as well, with the wildlife and everything that is all the elements that are in this mural, basically. And she and her family have also sent their blessings and their acceptance for this mural. My budget will cover scaffolding, the mural paint and plaster repair materials, which I will be fixing the wall myself. I'm very handy, so I will be plastering that wall. And insurance, and then artist fees for myself, Trina, and any other volunteers or mural help I will have during that time. The current building state, it has patched graffiti, it has plaster falling apart and dirty cracking wall base, again, in a very high traffic area. And we would love to brighten that up. Who am I? I am been a full-time artist since 2013. I am representation in the gallery in downtown Scottsdale. And I painted several murals, including a 120-foot by 20-foot mural for the World Equestrian Center in Ohio. I'm very excited to tackle this large project. In summary, the wall is in need of love and repair in a high traffic area. Our town was built on the beauty of this land, and it would be an honor to inspire our community through this mural, and our water deserves our respected care. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
It's a lovely mural.
thank you.
I really appreciate that you're focused on a juniper
Yes.
and an aspen or a ponderosa.
They're in there, but it's not the whole thing.
No, but I
you
like
know?
that we're seeing a new tree. It's great.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. I love all of them. It's no fun. Aspens or ponderosas, but I do really love the junipers. They're underappreciated. My question for you though is actually more technical.
Okay.
Have you tested your plaster repair on that building?
So this is the thing. So the building owner with the plaster and everything, I did want to try and hire someone to come in and do the plaster. It was going to be very expensive.
Yes.
For a pro to come in and do it. And I know the building owner that was something that he wanted to be covered in this grant, but we came to a conclusion that he said it was very easy to do, very easy to fix. And I'm very handy. I have done a lot of house projects and things, but I have not done plastic.
Okay, so the reason why I asked.
Yes.
Is because a lot of times plaster degradation is due to things like moisture infiltration behind a plaster.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit of visible degradation is a sign of a lot of degradation.
Okay.
And it could mean that pieces of that are going to fall off while you were trying to execute your mural.
Sure. Okay.
I, I, I would, I love the idea.
Yeah.
I'm reflecting on what we did for the mural to save that mural on the bike shop.
Right.
And that was very, very expensive.
Okay.
And so I have some concerns there is
Yeah.
probably my
Okay.
best way. And I think a little testing
Okay.
would be really smart.
Okay. I can talk with Steve and see if he's willing to do some tests, and I can also open the conversation back up.
Yeah, I would just have that conversation
Yeah.
because I know that Absolute Bikes
Mhm.
went through a real effort to save the mural
Okay.
on the outside of that building, and I think it was a lot more complex than that.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's new information to me. So yeah, I would
But it
love
is a
to-
gorgeous mural, and
Thank you.
and my hope is that we can be lucky.
Yeah. I love luck. Yeah. Right.
But,
Yeah.
but, maybe it's just a car is whacking it or something.
Yeah, sure. It is a driving area, so
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that would be my concern.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
I was gonna ask something
Same, similar, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, we opened the conversation. Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
going over your budget. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course,
Thank you.
absolutely.
That
Yeah,
was very detailed.
yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And we have Joe.
Yep.
Hi.
Hello.
The down button is gonna advance your slide.
Okay.
I'm, it's already up and okay, I'm a little logically challenged here. Okay, am I ready? Go. Okay, hi, I'm Joe. I'm a local Flagstaff fan here. I've been here over 30 years. And my proposal is for a mural on Arizona Music Pro wall on the east facing wall of the MP. And initially, this design, when I actually first pitched it, it didn't have the musical notes in it. It was just the leaves, the heart-shaped leaves blowing in the wind. And I had several businesses that were actually interested in it, and then they got funding for renovations to their walls or just tearing their walls down. So no mural for me. And actually Lowell Observatory was interested in it, but because of the new Discovery Center, they told me that it would take like 6 months to a year just to push it through all the channels for approval. So I was like, that's way too long. And then Lance at Arizona Music Pro saw it and he loved it. And so in honor of the music business that's been there for over 30 years, for a lot of us, I went ahead and added some musical notes to it. But I want to say that the musical notes aren't just random. They're actually part of this sheet music, Jupiter, from composer Gustav Holst. And he composed it around, I believe, 1914, 1917, in that time period. And it's sheet music is Jupiter, but it's part of the larger composition of planets. And I have to say going on to the next slide, that I chose Jupiter because I know Lowell, I know Percival Lowell actually did a lot of study, a lot of research about Mars. I think he's kind of obsessed with Mars, actually. But he did a lot of research about Jupiter too. And I chose Jupiter just because I chose to use creative license. It's prettier. The Mars sheet music was pretty boring. And so I liked the Jupiter sheet music better. It just looks nicer, And Lance and I actually discussed too that we could pull the musical notes off the side of the border of the mural and they could swirl, off to the side. I was also thinking that I could add like maybe a 3-inch border around the mural so that on the bottom of it, I could maybe add an explanation to the relevance of the sheet music to Lowell Observatory to the mural as our International Dark Sky City, because we're a dark sky city because of the observatory, you know, and so I think the connection is important. And we were discussing too that this is in a, you know, it's a high traffic area with foot traffic. It's going to be vibrant. You know, tourists and locals will be able to see it, you know, traffic coming from East Route 66 will be able to see it. I think it's a pretty bold piece. And of course, it's important to commemorate our place in history. And the mural itself is gonna, I think it's gonna be around 160 to 170 square feet. I have a paint store down in Tempe that I've gotten my paint from before, my exterior paint. Benjamin Moore, they have really like good, high pigmented, vibrant paint. And really high quality exterior paint can go down to low temperatures. I've used their paint before. I used their paint on a mural I did in Mexico a couple of years ago. I donated a mural to a migrant center down there. And that gets hammered by weather all the time. And it's still holding up 2 years later, like really strong and really vibrant. And last I heard, the town got evacuated. So I think it's still doing well. I hope so. And then I was told I need to add in here too, I guess that I adjusted the budget because originally I had pitched it around, I think 2750. But we were told that we were gonna have to pay taxes on this grant as like, I think I'm self-employed artists or something. And so I bumped up my budget ask to the 2,900 instead of 2,750, just to help compensate for the taxes a little bit. And I'm just pitching for a portion of the grant because I'm kind of hoping that several artists can get some projects in there, you know, and so hopefully 2,900 isn't too much. And yeah, I think it's just, I think it's such an important piece of our history to have commemorating Flagstaff, you know, first international dark sky city.
And that's time.
Oh, holy cow, I can't believe I did it. Okay, and then, thank you. Oh, and I said beautification in action. I'm so sorry. I think it's supposed to be public arts. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that.
Does anyone have any questions about this piece? Thoughts?
Minor thing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a musician. You're probably not. In the last measure, you have 1/8 note that's backwards.
Oh, well, I will have to fix that. Well, and Lance will be able to help guide me in that too.
I love the little Easter egg to Holst. I think that's a really neat thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful piece of music.
That's my favorite part of the piece, actually.
Yeah.
And what I want to ask
Yes.
is, since it's in Flagstaff,
Mhm.
I don't know if we have to say Flagstaff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I wonder, since there's a dark sky in there,
Right.
if we have to say dark sky, and if that wouldn't give you more room for more music.
Absolutely.
You know, and that is such a beautiful, such a beautiful Easter egg. People are going to play it. Musicians
Exactly.
like
That's what I
Michael
heard.
are going to walk by and they're gonna know, and they're gonna take a picture and they're gonna go home and they're gonna play it.
Right.
And I wonder if maybe your piece is strong enough that it doesn't need all the extra typography,
That'd be great.
you know, and that it could just be that beautiful dark sky with the music notes.
Yeah.
I think you have a strength there that maybe is being a little overwhelmed by all of your typography.
Great.
And if the collaboration requires it, then that's one thing, but
No, not at all.
but it's, I think people know where they are.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the music and actually, personal preference, I like the Jupiter piece best. That's my favorite piece of it.
Okay, yeah. It is really beautiful.
It is
I
really
played
fun.
it, yeah, when I
It's-
was painting. so-
It's one of my very favorites. So thank you. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
piece.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought I'd kind of maybe be able to put some constellations in the sky too, or not just random peppered stars. I could.
I like the kind of silhouetted planet in the background.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to create. And yeah, all of that can definitely be adjusted.
Yeah,
easily.
it's your piece, but I do think you have a strength there.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you, all the other artists for showing up. You guys make this amazing for us. Thank you. That's a big deal for artists, a big scene and heard. I appreciate your time.
This is one of our very favorite parts.
Thank you so much.
Nice to see you. That's okay. So I think we can, so did,
Yeah.
Christie,
We have not heard from Dr.
Okay.
Christie.
then we'll not vote on that one. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Be safe, getting home.
Alright, so are we ready to, for some projects, discussion and votes? So let's start with, Danielle Fouché basketball court mural. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve? Okay, we can discuss with the motion. And then I'll second. Is there any discussion?
That sounds good to me.
I think it's a really nice piece in a neglected neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, and I love the idea of additional games and sport court features. I just, that is sometimes the problem with activation is that, there's one suggested activity with a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely a part of town. We don't get along all the time.
yeah, to our own shame.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I
Right.
do think if it's in the budget, doing the graffiti, the anti-graffiti layer on top would be a good idea.
Okay, do we want to make that a part of the approval?
I don't know what you guys think.
Do you know if it's in the budget?
I can pull up her application. Thanks, Annalisa.
I had concerns about, what happened downtown right in front of the weather fair when they put in that thing on the street and it was gone like 3 minutes later. So I was.
Don't use that project as an example.
Well, that's, I was gonna say.
Yeah. It was not, and it was, right.
And that project was also very poorly received.
Yes.
So there was a lot of controversy around that project.
There was, and I remember, and so that's why.
And wasn't on.
Yeah, that was not.
Well, but that's why when I hear stuff like this, I also wonder about people making comments and having those same concerns.
Right. Yeah, it seems like there's community engagement with this one, which I wasn't with that one. That one was a surprise for the whole community.
So in her application, she has $1,200 budgeted for paint. She has 1,000 for clean and repair of the surface, 500 for other supplies like brushes, buckets, rags, and then her artist fee.
Okay.
And the total though is.
I think what I'd like to do is just make a motion to approve and ask staff if they could work with the artist to determine if that's possible within the budget.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
You can do that, or you can, give us authority to add to that budget if staff deems it necessary.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds great. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve with the authority for the staff to add anti-graffiti if it's approved and makes sense. So, further, all in favor? Aye. Great. And then the next one, Kathy Freda, and it's in the General's Hire Bureau. Okay, yeah, all in favor? All right, you're good?
Thank you for a great presentation.
Yes, thank you. That was fantastic.
Who seconded that motion for Kathy?
Thanks. And then Jason Jones, Freedom Garden. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I have a question. Did the application have the address, the location?
Let's look.
Yeah, I really love the idea of supporting these little nonprofits. I know there are a lot of them in town for whom grant like this could be something that really changes the viability of their nonprofit. Or anything, do you know if the address is in there?
So, There's not like a numerical address. It says Southside Neighborhood, South San Francisco Street, near the north entrance of NAU, Flagstaff.
I feel like we need to know where it is. Is there no,
Going through the rest of the application just to make sure.
Right there, 927. Oh,
no,
that's
the contact, that's an address.
Yeah, so right here, we have the project address with no street number.
I feel like there has to be an address to give money.
Yeah.
That is a really good question, isn't it? I didn't even think of that.
The renderings made it hard for me to where it was.
I will say something I really like about this. It reminds me of, I lived in downtown Phoenix from 2011 to 2015, like right when all of that renovation was going on, Roosevelt Road was coming up and all that stuff was happening. And there was a very similar idea to this. It was like a corner plot that somebody had donated, and it was just sort of like a community grow house, like, and it was super popular. People would walk by and just like start helping out, pulling weeds, and I volunteered there. It really like created the sense of community, and it hosted a lot of events. It was really similar to what he's describing. It was super popular.
Like, I didn't want to ask more questions than I was asking anybody else. But the questions that were in my head were, if it's a volunteer thing, like anybody can sign up and volunteer, then that answers for me the public accessibility, as long as anyone can sign up and volunteer. Because I do have some concerns about it being on private property and being fenced.
Corey, what was the, did you not ask the public accessibility issue of at least the lawyer, or Anya Wendell? I mean, because obviously that.
Yeah, I would assume it was covered.
I don't remember asking Anya about this, but in his, in the response that I sent him, inviting him, to present, I did, say our commission initially had these questions. Who specifically can use the garden? Is the garden visible from the sidewalk? And he responded, and Annalise, this is at the very bottom of the document that you have, I believe. He says the garden is visible from the sidewalk. The garden can specifically be used by the nonprofit hosting the project, Liberation Earth, for the purpose of distributing food to other nonprofits, food networks, and engagement that in community-oriented and supports the goal of strengthening local food systems. The community engagement aspect allows volunteers from various organizations to participate in harvesting and maintaining the garden. That would be facilitated a simple process to allow authorized access during specific times. The educational aspect allows it to be accessible to virtually anyone who signs up when we have designated events around the garden.
I feel like there's a lot of ambiguity. Like, we funded the garden at the food center. And not everybody can go to that garden and harvest that stuff. The food is for the food center. But the garden is publicly accessible to anyone who walks by. You can walk into the garden and enjoy the garden and how beautiful the garden is. I
This
don't
looks like
know
it
if
was
this-
behind a fence
I don't know if this,
and it's on private property. I mean, we fund projects on private property
Yeah.
all the time, right?
Yeah. we do,
We're listening to a mural on the back of a building, but it seems to me like it is visible from the sidewalk, but it is behind a fence, it is on someone's lot, and it sounds like to access it, you have to be doing something with the nonprofit. So it's not like a park. that
You're
you can
saying they're
just-
gonna lease it. Was there a lease agreement included?
There's a land use permission agreement from a Wallace Kid. In this, it's just a letter. It does not have the address that we've already brought up.
this,
Are there photos of the space? Did they include any photos? I think this is a rendering.
It's like,
so it feels like a little bit of.
Would you like to continue this and see if staff can get you answers?
I would like to do that.
I'd like some photos of the space.
And I would like some clear definition of how they're going to
You want
allow
an address.
public accessibility.
Yes.
Because it's
like we don't
very
even
easy
know,
to say it's once a year on an alternate, like, February 29th.
There's a bunch of buildings on San Francisco, like businesses, and he didn't say, oh, it's next to
Yeah.
this business or.
Legal Street View right now,
Yeah.
and right across the street from what I assume he's calling the entrance to NAU, right by the HLC. There is a big empty parcel of land. Well, empty, it's got a lot of trees, bushes and stuff.
Okay,
I think that might be what he's talking about.
okay, we will,
By the church, One Tribe Church. It's on San Francisco and Franklin. That's where you're thinking
Yeah.
is,
I,
like San Francisco and Franklin.
yeah, that seems to be.
okay, so staff, so we will need a motion to continue. Staff will, ask the applicant to amend their application to include an address, to include more definition of accessibility, and we will ask Anya and Wendell before we bring it back to.
Yes, I would like,
This would be great.
Send photos.
I would like to make a motion to send this back for evaluation with staff for accessibility and more definition around the programming, and then more definition by the city lawyer. Does anybody want to second this motion? All in favor? Aye. And then Claire Magnus and PC Whitegarden. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Anyone with a motion to approve?
So
Yeah, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then Joe Rohrabacher, do we,
Well, there was Christy Rock is sandwiched in there. She didn't make it into the
she didn't, okay.
Yeah.
And Christy was the
The
mural on
St.
Hawaiian.
Waters mural, yes.
Okay, so Christy Rockus and the mural on the Hawaiian restaurant building. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I really need to know more about the structural integrity of that plaster before I'm ready to vote.
I would like to make a motion to delay this one until she's had an opportunity to evaluate the viability of the plaster repair.
Yeah.
And come back with a report on that, because I think we've learned our lesson around that. Great, all in favor?
Aye.
And then Joe Rohrabacher, International Dark Sky Mural. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that? Where you are going down? 66. Do you know where Arizona Music Pro is? It's on the wall. Okay.
Like, will you be able to see it when you're going down?
It's freaking Mally, correct?
So
I think like she was talking maybe on.
I think it's like, isn't it the alley that faces Martin's?
I don't think she said the alley.
Oh, is it on the main wall? The outside?
this wall here,
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, that is it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's great. That's street side. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see, okay.
I feel fairly strongly that, maybe staff could work with her on the typography, because I think the piece was a lot stronger without it.
I agree, but I also think including First International Dark Sky City, I think a lot of people don't know that, and especially people that are just coming through town. I think it's a loss to not have that on there, but I agree with you about the way it's on there right now. It's my favorite.
Like the font, I do think that if we say Flagstaff, First International Dark Sky City, I think that's a cohesive message. And so I think it works, but I didn't like the font. But those are nitpicky.
You could make them, direct staff to work with her.
Yes, let's make
Or
a motion.
Yeah.
Let's make a motion to approve with staff, staff direction and help to implement. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item H, request for future agenda items. Are there any? And then item I, time and date for upcoming meetings, APEC meeting, July 14th, 2025, 4:00 p.m. And item J, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Uh-huh. Do you remember? Maybe is here to observe.
Yes, I know.
Like, so she's public.
Okay.
I suspect she is a commissioner and making. I suspect she's interested in how this works.
Okay.
And
Well,
she has something, she's either got a plan, an agenda, or a desire to be a part of.
I mean, to be honest with you, if I could know more about feedback when I started Culture Connection, I would have come and observed these meetings. It would have been really helpful.
Yeah, this is the one that you got originally.
There's something, no, she's got something brewing.
Yeah.
The woman is sitting behind you.
So the next
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
you two